Hi, I'm Morgan Fowler, and my project is a review of Ursula Brown's book, The Interracial Experience. Here's some statistics on biracials in the United States. 12% of all marriages are between two different races. That's the highest of all time. And 2.4 of the total population is mixed race, meaning that they are two or more races. This is the highest number of mixed race individuals in American history, and the number is only projected to rise. This topic is important to me because I'm of mixed race heritage. My mom is Apache, and my dad is white. This is not a very uncommon combination, but it definitely caused a lot of issues growing up. My Native American family was not very receptive to my mom marrying a white man, so it did create a lot of strife in my early life. It's important to the world because being mixed race has only been socially acceptable for a very small amount of time. In the United States, interracial couples have only been legally allowed to marry since the 1960s. Today, with the number of interracial marriages at an all-time high, I think that it's important that we study the children of these marriages because these children are a very unique cohort and they're worth being studied. And since it's only been legal for about 60 years to marry interracially, I think that there's a lot of data that we just don't know. Ursula Brown's book, The Interracial Experience. Black and white marriages have increased by 504% in the last 25 years. The 2000 census was the first time ever that people have been allowed to identify as mixed race. And black-white children account for 30% of all mixed race children, and that's the highest amount. In her book, she uses census data to collect all her stats. The variables in her study are race. She collected her data using stratified random sampling. She chose 10 cities and then at random 5 neighborhoods from each city. She chose 10 cities with high ethnic populations, which were Atlanta, New Orleans, Washington, D.C., New York, Houston, Detroit, Los Angeles, Boston, Baltimore, and Chicago. The premise of her research was that children of interracial relationships have a hard time self-identifying. She hypothesized that children who grew up knowing that they were part white would never be accepted by the white community as white. She also assumed the same would happen among the black community. She began her research after the 2000 United States Census, the census that for the first time you could self-identify as two or more races. After doing her quantitative data, she then selected 4 participants from different cities to do a case study. Her findings were in line with her hypothesis. Children growing up mixed could not pass for either white or black. She found that from a young age, these children seek acceptance from their family and peers, but often they don't get it. In 2 of the case studies, she found that the children of a black-white union were not accepted at all by their extended families. They were excluded from family functions and ignored. In 1 case study, she found a single white mom raising a black and white son who was not accepted by her family, but her church group and peers were very accepting of him. In the last case study, a black dad and white mom raise a son who strongly identifies with his black roots. The conclusion is Ursula Brown's hypothesis was correct. Children of a mixed-race heritage have a hard time being accepted, and in many cases they choose to identify with what they look like. If they look black, they tell people they're black. She also found that children of mixed-race backgrounds have more trouble socializing and have problems in their teenage years. Overall, it seems that the United States as a society is still not accepting of mixed-race children and refuses to accept them in society.